Hey YouTube, it's Petey Two Finger. Now I had gotten the idea to put a band together where I would wear the chicken suit and play the white bass. That's what this bass in your face stuff is. It's the backing tracks that I was working on. The idea is the demos that would eventually turn into a live performance, where my wife would play. Her job would be playing bass, holding it down, more traditional, and I would be playing in the chicken suit with the BC Rich, the big giant heavy metal bass guitar with the pointy ends on it, and I would be using, you know, fuzz wah wah bass, playing a couple octaves higher, playing in a style more like a lead instrument. So it would be creative, fun music, and we would be using more modern rhythm sounds like the drums. And I'm not talking about like um, beatbox or like hip hop, but more slight video gamey techno thing in some spots. Um, Bass drops, pew pew, that type of stuff. Uh, Lower frequency effects. Now, uh, years ago, my little brother found the guitar, got the guitar, and gave it to me, and it was stripped. I recently had the idea. I woke up, couldn't sleep. So I rebuilt the bass. I bought parts for it. I got the cheap stuff. I had to rebuy a couple of things, but it was still really cheap. We got this bass now, and it's awesome. But playing it, it's a big bass. It's huge. And I when I first started as a kid, I had this Charvel that I played in the cover bands. I still have it, and it's the same thing. It's a pointy, real long white pointy bass, and it sounds phenomenal. It plays really good. It stays in tune. It's a fine instrument, but I used to get this horrific wrist pain. I would take two ibuprofen, and boy, I'll tell you, it killed the pain. But I was gobbling those things. I started getting worried about it messing with my gut. And it went on for a long time. Years after I stopped playing bass, I still had it. Well, I've been free of that pain up until recently. I rebuilt the BC Rich and I wanted to write all this, goofy, funny, fun spirited music that would be like I could dance around in the suit maybe. I mean, I've got grandkids. So if we could make this like musical games and have it like a show, like short songs, have it be like unbelievably heavy and then jazzy and fun with weird effects. I was thinking of doing songs where I would have fart sound effects on the PA so the chicken could at the end of the phrase he could go over and act out a fart. Like I had all these ideas for stuff that would have made this. It would have worked. It would have like this totally would have worked. You know. Uh, and especially with my wife, like trying not to laugh and play, it would have just been would have been absolutely hilarious. Because when I put that chicken suit on, she can't help it. She's gonna be giggling. Anyway, yeah, I recorded. I had fun with the pieces. I like what came out of it, but on like the third song, my wrist was so unbelievably bad, and now I don't think I can play the bass. That pain thing came back. I switched over. I took time off, and then I switched over and went on a 30-inch scale. I went from a 34-inch scale to a 30-inch scale bass, and I played one night of tracking bass, two songs, and I believe I'm not going to be able to do it. It says telemarketer.
Wow.
So more than likely, what you're gonna what you'll see I'll finish writing some more for that and take what I got, which is I gotta tell you, the video is kind of an afterthought. I know I always say this, like don't look to me for look for lesser and lesser. I had to reinstall my computer, and the effects on the Vegas are all goofy now. They're not right. I don't have like Prism. I don't have Trails. All the stuff I used to use, I don't have. So I'm gonna have to redo that. Um, so yeah, can't cancel the chicken band. 2 piece and a biscuit. I don't know what I was gonna call it. Gomti and the Magic Chicken. I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna call it. I know it would have been fun, and I'm just like, it's going to end up being an album. I will have that before February. I don't know. I don't know. I got 7 pieces that are really rough right now, but I think I want to keep them. The way I don't think I want to re-record them. You can't. I can't. I can't. I would have to really put in put in an effort mentally, prepare myself beforehand to do that, and then depending on what it is, capture a certain percentage of the original. But the way that I do it, eh. So I listened to the stuff last night, and I really like it. I think you guys will think it's fun. A lot of it's up already, so uh, that will be happening. Right now, it says "Bass in Your Face." I'm not calling it that. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but yeah, I've had it up to here with the politics and all the fear, and that just brings the worst out in me. I really feeling like scared and let down, and at the same time, like I changed my diet and I switched to sugar free, and like I have this healthy couple of days where I didn't suffer the lethargy, so I should be super happy about that. So I don't want to be depressive. I want to realize how lucky I am, and at the same time I think, well, that's her, that's Donna taking care of me, and that's I'm not an idiot. Meaning, when in life sometimes you're on the road where you have to make a decision and it's not the decision that you want to make. It's called responsibility. And I'm no one to talk. I made a lot of really dumb and bad decisions to get me where I am. So, by the grace of God, there go I. And I just can't take the political thing, though. Man, every day bouncing in a different direction, and it brings out the worst in me. So that was the point I wanted to make. Um, when I was Xing out of the hundreds of windows that I had open that was all negative media stuff, one of the things that popped up was Chris Novoselic has started his own political party. And there's a band. It's called the Cascade Party. The band is called
Bonafide band.
Bonafide Band. And he was saying like, okay, you're homeless and you are using. You can come to us. We have a program for you to rehabilitate yourself and get yourself well and start on a path to a healthy life. But we're going to ask for something in return for that. You're going to have to stay sober. You have to be accountable and stay straight. So it seemed to me like it was kind of right wingy and religious. I don't know. I don't know Chris. I know he always wanted to have himself be perceived as an intellectual, it seemed like to me, or that he was intelligent, you know. And maybe he is a real evolved great person. I don't know. I do not know the guy. I just know he always came off to me like really cocky when he was young, but then older, it seemed like he was just waiting to put the suit on and join the ballot or whatever. Like that, he was interested in that. Now, Geddy Lee has a show, Bass Players Are People Too, where he goes to famous bass players' house who kind of have it together and live what some would think would be an admirable lifestyle, and they hang out with them for a weekend and highlight their they live a balanced life through whatever it may be, their thing. And it's a really great show. He was on it. Um, Chris had a little girl, like a small mate, and they went to some tiny, like a woodshed. It was a church, and they were cleaning it up and like they were gonna fix it up. And it was so cool. Like that's what you're doing with your life. You found this ancient church building, and you're gonna like bring it all up to code and trick it out and make it kick ass and make it killer. What are you gonna do with it then? Are you gonna is it gonna be used as a church? Are you gonna use it to worship? Like it was super cool. I never would have expected to see that from him. But that was making a statement there. That was like making a statement, you know. So I hate to think that the worst, and that he's using system to promote his band, which it's Screaming Tree guy. They're gonna do some Screaming Trees music, and there's two other girls. I don't think I'm familiar with, but they're maybe from a band. They're gonna do some of the Tiny House for Giants or Tiny Giant Days. Some band with giant homes. Uh, the person that's in the band with Chris Novoselic.
The drummer guy from.
Who's in the band?
I'll let you know in a minute.
Something Giants. Tiny giant wallets for small giants.
I have to look up him exactly because there's another band I think that was.
Yeah, well, he was like the first thing we had to tell them we're not having a president candidate. So they're just told the government, like, hey, the requirement is that you have to have a presidential candidate, and they're saying we don't have one. So I don't know. It was weird. It's a YouTube video you can check out.
Mark Pickerel from the Screaming Trees.
Mark Pickle from the Screaming Trees is in this band, the Behemoth Band.
Bonafide band.
Bonafide band.
Jillian Ray and Jennifer Johnson are vocalists. I don't know who the hell they are. One of them was from a band with a name, it doesn't say on here, and the guitarist is Kathy Moore. The bassist said they are playing mostly Giants in the Trees and
Giants in the Trees.
Third Secret songs. Third Secret was one of the bands that one of them was in, probably too. I looked that up earlier, but I don't recall.
So I don't know what else he did. I mean, this kind of seems like a big move. But tying it in with the music, they said they're going to have their own social media, and when you join the social media, you're joining their party, and like it sounded like really hip and like really cool. Now, anytime anyone is coming in as a third party and they're talking about doing things different, I always like that. To me, that's like the stuff that fairy tales are made of. That's hope, you know, copium, hope, whatever. Like when I hear that stuff, I'm just like, oh. But things are pretty much, pretty much have been the same. And I remember as a kid the feeling, having this feeling when I was a little kid that like how nobody trusted the government and there was all this civil unrest. And I understood that it was because they killed Kennedy and they did all these horrible things in the name of war, that it was like war versus peace. But then, like, as a kid, I know everyone played war, so it was like, it's like, this is our nature, but like, we're not supposed to be like this, but we are, like, it's just really scary shit. And a little kid shouldn't be thinking like that. But, and neither should an adult. As our leaders, we should have trust in them. We should not think that every single person you see on the internet is in on some Illuminati knowledge and joke, and we're all the sheep. It's not like that, It's just our nature as human beings creates this drama. In every place that it can flourish, it will, because people generally don't choose to do the right things, and there are things, legitimate conspiracies. It's a fact. So it's just how far does it go, and that's nothing that you want to focus on. So I knew this was going to be bad. I just didn't think it was going to be bad as it's been so far. So hopefully we can get through this, and no one will be much worse for wear. I know they shut all the computers off the other day. It's like, what the really, you need to do that? So we still need to go out and do some more remotes and get some more footage for you guys. I kind of got ahead of things with this chicken base project, but there will be an album that's going to be great. If you want to listen to what I've done so far, the stuff is up. I like it. I think when I put it together as a package, it's going to be great, fun for me to listen to. But I also know that it's going to be really limited because the graphical side of it is going to be a lot of recycled material. And in my defense, the whole system had to be redone, and a bunch of the video plugins don't work. I had an older version of the editor, and I tried to upgrade to the newer one, and the old plugins don't work in it. They're not forward compatible. And then when I went to put the old version back in, they still don't work. They're like not activated. So, as far as doing computer stuff, the most complicated thing that I ever did was crack third-party video effects, crack them, and get them to work in Sony Vegas. That was the most complicated, biggest pain in the neck that I ever had to do on a computer. the biggest challenge. And now I'm down a little bit. There's been times in my past experience as a creator when I had this stuff and it was new and it was working and I was discovering what it could do and thriving with it. And there's been times where I don't have as much, or because of the fact I overused it, I'll back off on it. You know, now I want to use it, and it's like, oh man, I spent so much time last night looking for trails, a trail effect. So yeah, I got to do some changes. I got to do some more work on the computer before I'll be able to do a knock them out of the park video editing project. But on the other hand, what we do have is a brand new camera with much better resolution. So the next batch of footage that we get that's for the duo, which is really the main effort of my life, we have a set of stuff that you haven't seen it all yet. So once I get footage of that, maybe I could concentrate on just making it look really pretty and not so much on the effects end of the deal. And we could take it from there. Anyways, you guys, I wanted to say thank you for letting me to blow the steam off. I just wanted to say that being an American, it's frustrating if you let yourself get exposed to the machine that is the media. That's just not healthy. I know there's really no other answer than to stay informed. But really, I think the smart thing to do would be to limit yourself, to find sources that you feel are you can trust, and limit your exposure to that stuff to a minimal amount through those outlets that you can trust. So if you know of anything like that, I'd love to hear where you get your news from. Or I'm not necessarily asking people to say how they feel about it politically, whether they're for one side or the other. That's really nobody's business. And that's not to say that I'm some right-wing Trumper, just as much as I'm blue no matter who. That's the furthest thing from me. You know, I'm looking for somebody I feel I can trust who's going to do the right thing. And every time it comes up that there's somebody like that, it's some third thing during the sweeps week or whatever. They'll put this guy up on a pedestal and go, oh, he's got all the answers, he's going to come in and do the right thing, and then you never hear from him again. So yeah, I just wanted to let off steam that they got to me a little bit, you know, and that's not good. You know, keep yourself from letting them get to you. Uh, if you've got goofy health stuff going on in your life, if you're getting older, go get it checked out. Never take any medication unless you've really done your research, and when you take it, only take tiny amounts and wean yourself up on that shit. And be smart. Look it up. Find out. Like I had this shit, and I know after I've taken it, if I start feeling dizzy, because I did, have a little sugar, and you'll be all right. So I'd ask you to be respectful of that I share this type of information, and don't mock me. I I've made an effort to clean up my act. If you know me, for me to die from hippie syndrome when I'm 63 years old, that would really be a fucking shame. You know, considering how long it takes me to learn anything on guitar, that'd be a waste. Anyway, you guys take care of yourselves. Thanks for spending some time with me. That's why I made this video, to let you know what's been going on with me. It's just been a stressful time, but I've been great because I got somebody who's fighting for me and taking care of me, and that's Donna, so we can't forget her. All right, you guys, take care of yourselves.